online to our exclusive series with Rashad Eid, the mastermind behind Gilman's Kitchens and Baths, where we delve into the art and science of transforming your home. Today, we're thrilled to have Rashad join us as we embark on a journey to enlighten homeowners about achieving their ultimate dream spaces. Our goal is very clear to equip you with the insights and strategies for a seamless and successful home renovation. Whether it's that bespoke kitchen you have been dreaming of or a comprehensive remodel, we are here to ensure your visions come to life with authority and style. So I have Rashad here. Hi, Rashad. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Nora. I'm Rashad. I'm an interior architect with Gilmans, and I've been in the business for almost 20 years.
Okay, thank you so much, Rashad. And I want to continue with our first question. And this is a big one. It's something everyone wonders about. What is the best way to design a kitchen?
It's not a very easy question to answer, but I will try to give you the best way to do it. You will have to have a vision. You have to have some guidance in what style that you're going to have in your design. A budget is very important, and you have to have a lot of patience to do a remodel. Remodel of a kitchen is a very long time, and it takes a lot of patience, and you have to be very careful about what you're choosing because it's something that is permanent and it's not something that you can change on a regular basis.
Yes, that's true. And now I just want to dig a little deeper. So, when it comes to designing a kitchen, what are the five key factors people should consider? I'm sure that there are so many details to keep in mind, but what is your top three or top five?
I would say top five. First is the style of the kitchen that you want. Second is how the budget that you want to spend on the kitchen. Third is your work triangle. So in all kitchens, there's a work triangle that you have to have it in the kitchen because it has to be functional and aesthetic at the same time. You rarely can like sacrifice one or the other. They really have to come together if you're knowing exactly what you're doing. Size of things, proportion of things is very important in the key design of a kitchen. And lastly, is like your lifestyle. Do you want to change your lifestyle or do you want to keep it as is?
Mm-hmm. Great points. And moving on to something a bit more specific, what do you think is the most ideal kitchen layout? I feel like this one can vary based on personal preference and space, but I want to just hear your opinion on the ideal kitchen layout.
So, like I mentioned before in the 5 minutes earlier, there's a triangle of work that needs to be done in the kitchen. It's very imperative that all clients knows how to navigate their kitchen in a way that they can go from the sink to the fridge to the oven in a ways that is easy for them and not obstructed by an island. I know a lot of people love island, but some space don't have to have an island. There's a lot of layout that people wants to take walls, and those walls are there for a reason and they maybe should be there. So you have to be very careful other than just going with what the TV does, take walls and open a space. Sometimes your kitchen does not have to take a wall. So you really need that space for more storage if your kitchen is a small. So you have to be very careful about what is the kitchen layout is going to be designed on the floor other than just what you imagine it's going to be. It's a very expensive mistake if you make a mistakes in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. The layout is very crucial. And now, for those planning a remodel, having a checklist can be super helpful. What do you think should be on a kitchen remodeling checklist?
Appliances, size of the appliances, the sink is super important. What is the height of your countertop that you want, and finally, which is not that very important, is the style of the kitchen. Do you want it modern? Do you want it transitional? Do you want it traditional? But I cannot say more that appliances and sinks are the most important thing at this to start the kitchen, because they take a lot of spot in the kitchen. So we really need to know if these appliances are proportioned to the kitchen. Maybe sometimes you can sacrifice a cabinet if you are really dead on for a 48-inch oven, but sometimes the kitchen cannot hold a 48-inch oven. So maybe we have to reduce it to a 36 or 30. So it's really, really important to like make a good choice with appliances.
Mhm. That's very helpful. Thank you. So, with so many factors to consider, what would you say is the most important factor when designing a kitchen if you have to choose one?
Budget.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like really cool ideas online, and most of them are not realistic kitchens, and they are really rendering. And in rendering, you can do whatever you want. And then if you bring that rendering and you want to like apply it to real life, sometimes these renderings are unrealistic for budgets in general, for living a budget. But again, if you have like $1 million budget, that's totally fine, but you just have to be very careful about what you're choosing. I keep using careful just because I know I've been in the business for a very long time, and I had a lot of experience with people where they try to venture into a remodel from a picture, but they don't know the ramification of how expensive that can be. And once it's in their kitchen, it's just not going to look good, and then they have to remodel again, and that's a double remodel, and that's a lot of money. Specifically in the Bay Area in here, we're one of the most highest priced kitchens in the country. So just be careful.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And now that we are on the subject, I want to talk about budgets. What would you say is a realistic investment for a kitchen remodel? Because this is like the tricky one for the homeowners as well. So I just want to know from your eyes, what's a realistic investment?
I can't pinpoint like the realistic investment, but what I can say, every project is different. So if you come to just like basically take off the old kitchen and put a new one exactly as is, that's an easy remodel. But if you're coming back to a kitchen where you want to open walls, move fridge, move plumbing, move electric and everything, that's a totally different thing. But we do have some like numbers in general. And again, I'm talking about the Bay Area, that is a little bit more expensive than anywhere else, just because of we don't have parking spots for the general contractors. We don't have a lot of stuff that are add up to the cost. But I would say cabinet in general for a 10 by 10 kitchen, a shaker style door, white, painted white, will start at like $24,000 without countertop, and general contracting to work with it, it will be around like $60,000 to $80,000. So that's in the Bay Area. I'm not pretty sure about, I mean, I do work in Vegas, I do work in Wisconsin, in Kansas, and that's a totally different world, but I mainly in the Bay Area, that's how much things cost.
Hmm. Yes, good advice. Budgeting is always a tough one. And now, organization is key to any kitchen, right? What type of organization do you recommend in your kitchen projects?
All my clients, the three things that I always put in their kitchen as organization is the trash can cabinet next to the oven on the left or on the right for like spice rack, and like a double decker for all the spoons and hardware and everything that they need to do. So these are the main three ones that you really need in a kitchen. And if you have corners, it's either like a lazy Susan or a magic corner. So it depends on the project, and it depends on what the client wants to work with it. But these are really main things that really needs to be in the kitchen to start with it.
Yeah, that's really useful. Thank you. And I just want to move on with another big topic, which is cabinets. Can you explain the three basic types of cabinet constructions to our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have three styles of cabinets. We have the frameless, we have the framed, and we have the inset. The frameless is the most modern one, and I would say 80% of the people want that just because you can take advantage of the full depth and width and height of the cabinets. So there's no obstruction on the front of the cabinet. The framed one is the most common American style cabinet. It's a little bit more traditional. I would say it's a transitional style that is very easy to work with. So if you don't like fillers on the corners, that's the best way to go with. And then you have my favorite anyway, but that's just my personal favorite, is the inset. It's a very traditional kind of cabinet. In San Francisco, it really works with most of the Victorian homes. So that's why I have this a little bit like in love with those cabinets, just because I think they're really elegant and very sophisticated. The bad thing with the inset is you lose a lot of space if you have a small kitchen. But other than that, I think they looks really amazing.
Mhm. That's really insightful. Thank you. And now, trends are always changing. What is the current trend in kitchen cabinets?
There's a lot of mix of texture in the cabinet at this point in the market. The lower in a finish for paint and the top in wood, or a mix of wood with laminate. The biggest trend at this point, what I'm seeing is, which is surprising for me, nobody wants upper cabinets anymore, and they just want floating shelf, which is a great idea. But I'm a messy person. I want to put stuff behind cabinets, so I don't know how to keep my kitchen clean when it comes to like floating chef, but that's a totally different subject that we can discuss later on.
That's very interesting to hear. And moving on with countertops, what would you say is the best countertop for a high-end kitchen?
So marble, Mother Nature, marble is the best way to go with it. There's a lot of quartz that looks like marble, but nothing compares to the real one. The price will be absolutely much more expensive, but the quality, the feel, the nature of the stone itself is just much higher quality and much more sophisticated than any quartz that you can find in the world. There is a couple of lines that have natural marble that is treated. I would definitely consider those as a really high-end product to use. Absolutely. But don't
Great.
misunderstand me. I like the quartz. So 95% of my projects are quartz, but they're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Great recommendations. And do you think quartz is the most luxurious type of kitchen countertop or not?
It is for the time being, but it doesn't compete with the natural stone like a natural marble that, there's so many marbles that you can go and find in the market that are like super higher quality than quartz. But quartz is an amazing product because it's a plug and play. So you don't have to treat it. You don't have to worry about scratches. You don't have to worry about stain. So it's a really good product that you use. And I suggest it for every single project that I have.
That sounds amazing. And now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, but it's so important, the lighting. How does lighting affect kitchen design and functionality?
Well, lighting is everything in a kitchen, because basically it's a sanitary place. It's a place where you need stuff to be clean. You have to have good lighting underneath the cabinet, on your ceiling. So it's a place where lighting has to be like the first thing that you think of when you start designing. Most of the time, people want to take it out of the budget just because they don't want to spend money on it. But with all my clients and with all my experience, that's what I basically start, where we have a big meeting about lighting, because it's such important, like when you're doing dishes, or if you want it, like if you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't want to light everything, you need some lighting to be working. Lighting on the toe kick now is a big thing. I mean, I cannot say how much it is important to have a good lighting in the kitchen with
Mhm.
dimmers if you don't like a super bright kitchen.
Yeah, lighting really does make such a difference. And finally, for our listeners who are looking to upgrade their kitchen appliances, what are the key considerations they should keep in mind when selecting kitchen appliances?
Proportion to the kitchen, finish to the kitchen, and then thirdly, just make sure that you're buying good quality appliances, because the lesser expensive ones are sometimes they break and then you have to change them for lesser. So basically you're paying double for something when you can buy from the beginning at the same price of two. So I know it's a very expensive part of the kitchen, but it's a very important part of the kitchen at the same time.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge with us today. This has been incredibly informative. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you got some valuable information. And until next time, happy remodeling.